Good evening. Welcome to the Urban Uncensored Sports Talk. I'm your man Charles, and in this video, I like to do a little recap and ranting due to the game that I saw yesterday between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've been around for a long time, been a Ravens fan for a very long time, and yesterday was definitely one of the most craziest, most predictable, most wildest Steelers Ravens games I've ever watched in my life. It was total Ravens and total Steelers at the same time. And it was maddening. Very, very maddening. First quarter, we came out real hot. Lamar led us downfield. Justice Hill got a touchdown. Our defense, pretty much, I understand Pittsburgh's been struggling a lot, lately the past couple of years with Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator. But yesterday, pretty much the Steelers were pretty much utter trash. And the Ravens looked class A, as they always do, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The way this game went, first half, that game should have been a blowout. We should have blown the Steelers out. Pretty much the turning point of the game was Rashad Bateman dropping a touchdown pass, a surefire touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson. And a friend of mine hit me up. He told me, I hope that doesn't bite us in the ass later on. Turns out that it really did. We ended up selling for 3, and we scored no more. Another turning point in the game was when Justice Hill fumbled. I don't know what it is with these Ravens, but they have fumbled, it seems like, in every single game this year. And it comes to a point where it's like, this needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed because we see it, and it seems like they're not getting better at what they're worse at right now, which is ball control. Lamar has fumbled, Justice Hill has fumbled, and it's maddening with this offense. Justice Hill fumbled, and it's kind of like the second fumble that he's had this year where he's been accounted for it. I mean, Justice Hill, he had a nice game yesterday, but that fumble really, that was one of the turning points of the game. Also, the drops from the receivers. Zay Flowers dropped passes. Mark Andrews dropped a couple passes. We had all in all 7 drops. Nelson Aguilar dropped a surefire touchdown from Lamar Jackson where all he needed to do was just pretty much catch it, and he's in the end zone because he got way behind the Steeler defense, and it was disgusting that he even dropped it. I mean, it kind of reminded me of when he was in Philadelphia, dropping all those passes. Todd Monken's play calling, pretty much the coaching in this game really killed us. I like John Harbaugh. I really do. He's been with us for 16 years. We've had some success underneath him. We have a Super Bowl, a lot of playoff wins, but it's getting annoying to the point where, he's really, over the years, he's cost us games due to his bad decisions. I understand being aggressive, but you also have to be you got to use that. You got to use that when you're coaching. We were up 10-0 in the game. Well, I think it was like 10-3 at that point. And it's 4th and 2. The clock is running. Bad clock management on his part. It's like, why don't you just take the points, okay? You have the greatest kicker to ever play the game in Justin Tucker. He can make that kick sleepwalking. Why are you going for it on 4th and 2? And the play call itself was, I could kind of understand it because Zay Flowers was wide open. And the fact that they, really rushed it and it turned into an incomplete pass when you've driven down the field, and it was kind of a long drive. You drove down the field on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, due to the stats and everything, I think they were probably like, 26, between 28, something like that, as far as total defense. But you're driving on them. At least get points out of it. You don't have to always get a touchdown every single time, especially when you're working the 2 minute drill. I understand you want to go for a touchdown. I mean, hey, the Ravens have been very efficient in scoring touchdowns as opposed to other years where they just settle for field goals. But yesterday, I was thinking to myself, yo, this would be perfect time to go for a field goal because Pittsburgh is going to get the ball to begin the second half, and it'd be great to get some points. Just apply that pressure. And he makes that decision. And John Harbaugh's decision making has, killed us over the years. And it's maddening because it's just like, it was one of those games yesterday where it was just, we should be blowing the Steelers out. We shouldn't be having all these mishaps and mistakes. The defense really bailed us out yesterday a lot. And they played their hearts out enough to even win that game. And it's very frustrating because this team, they have talent on offense, as opposed to the Greg Roman years where, it was always the running game and ball control and, just controlling the clock. But now with this offense, it's quick hitting, passing. Lamar has been on point passing the ball this year, and he looks great doing it. Lamar's numbers would have looked a lot better had there not been so many drops yesterday. Baltimore, before that game, was along with San Francisco with the least amount of drop passes in the league. And yesterday they had 7. Very uncharacteristic of this Ravens team. And I'll say this right now. Rashad Bateman, I was very excited back in 2021 when we were able to draft him because it's like, okay, we have someone now who is a playmaker at receiver. Really good hands, very good route running. He can make things happen with the ball. But yesterday, even prior to that, people were saying maybe we should trade Rashad Bateman. And even I was kind of like, you kind of tilt your head to it, and it's kind of like, no, give the kid a chance. But after yesterday, he pretty much proved those people right as far as talking about trading him. Surefire touchdown, and then there was another pass in the second half where he was going down the sidelines. He was defended well, but, as a receiver, you always want to put those hands out there. You always want to make a play on the ball, and he just alligator armed it. And it was very frustrating. And then he was kind of, slow getting up. And it was just, it was not a great day yesterday for the receivers. And also Lamar got blitzed yesterday in the second half. Highsmith and Watt just got to him. They really did. And Lamar has got to have better pocket presence. If you feel the pressure or if you see somebody coming, just run. And I wouldn't put it all on Lamar, but those fumbles yesterday, those 2 fumbles, those are on him. And he's got to protect the ball. He's making, he got his big money. He's playing very well this year. But the turnovers this year have really, it's alarming. And it kind of scares you. But, Lamar played all right yesterday. Didn't play great due to the drops. But, as a quarterback, there's only so much you can do when you're throwing the ball and you're giving them perfect passes. And then next thing you know, their hands are like Swiss cheese. They can't even hold on to it. But the offensive line just really, they got bulldozed in the second half. The Ravens offense couldn't do anything. And it reminded me of week 3 when they only gained like minus 12 yards in the entire second quarter against Indianapolis. And now they go up against a pretty pretty nice defense, despite what the statistics say about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know all about the Steelers. The Steelers will always play great tight defense. They're going to be well disciplined. They're going to get to the quarterback. They're gonna look to stop the run. But yesterday, with all the mistakes and the mishaps, this should have been a blowout. It really should have been a blowout. And the offensive line for the Ravens really let Lamar down, especially Ronnie Stanley. And ever since Ronnie Stanley has gotten paid back in 2020 and he got hurt right afterwards, he has not been the same. Let that be known. He has not been the same. I think it may be time to, cut ties with Ronnie Stanley and cut out the dead weight because it just looks like he can't do it anymore. Highsmith went around him like he was a traffic cone. It was that bad. The Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday were in shambles. I mean, their offense was so bad and our defense was really good. Credit to our defense. But their offense was so bad that, the commentators, Ian Eagle and Charles Davis, just couldn't ignore it. With the Pittsburgh fans, they're screaming for this man to get fired. Cheering "Fire Canada," in the stands at Acrisure Stadium. And it's just like, wow. Pittsburgh's they're in shambles over this. And the fact that they even won this game, and they didn't really have to do anything special. Najee Harris did nothing in this game. He broke off a couple of nice runs, but that was it. He didn't really do anything spectacular. Their backup, I can't think of his name right now off the top of the head, but he came in, he gave that Pittsburgh Steeler offense, a different look. Kenny Pickett, was sacked about maybe, I want to say he got sacked maybe 2 or 3 times. I can't really remember right off the head. But as they were kind of heating up, he was able to make those passes to the likes of George Pickens, who in 2022 I wanted the Ravens to draft. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, the sneaky bastards that they are, happened to swoop him up before we got a chance to get him. The Ravens defense, shout out to the Ravens defense. They played really well yesterday. And I pretty much felt bad for them yesterday because they were on the field a lot, especially when the Ravens couldn't sustain drives and get points. And it's just, when you leave your defense out there, for many of possessions, sooner or later, they're going to break. And it's really unfortunate. Marlon Humphrey got beat by George Pickens on a long touchdown. And right about then, I felt like the game was over. I mean, and special teams has been horrible for the Baltimore Ravens this year. John Harbaugh is a special teams whiz. And the special teams for the Baltimore Ravens is as worse as I've ever seen it. And it's bad. It's really bad. The one thing that the special teams did really well yesterday was get a fumble on Gunnar O'Shan's. I can't really pronounce his name. Whatever his name was. Got a fumble there and set our offense up. And then Pittsburgh got a penalty. Set our offense up, inside the 10. Goal line situations. Handed off to Gus Edwards. He runs for about 3 yards. And then Todd Monken, for the life of me, I don't understand, decides to pitch a shovel pass for Mark Andrews. Now, if it's for Zay Flowers or Nelson Aguilar or somebody speedy, then I can understand. But Mark Andrews is not the most speedy guy out there. He's really not. And it goes for a 2-yard loss. Then, the third down, the interception in the red zone, in the end zone by Joey Porter Jr. when Lamar was going for Odell Beckham Jr. Lamar could have thrown a better pass. Odell could have also shown a little bit more fight for the ball, but that didn't happen. And right about then and there, I was thinking, okay, this game's over. This game was so maddening from second quarter, well, pretty much pretty much from the second quarter on with the Justice Hill fumble, it was just, you know, Ravens could do nothing right. And I got a feeling after the safety, the block punt on Jordan Stout, I had gotten a feeling I've seen this way too many times where we've had the Steelers on the ropes and they just they pull out that Steeler magic in that place. They play Renegade. They played it when they were coming back from commercial, and I was just thinking, oh God, they got Renegade going. Fans are crazy. They got the towels out. This doesn't look good. And my worst fears came true. And the defense, I really felt bad for those guys. Marlon Humphrey got beat for that long touchdown from George Pickens. I can't even really be mad at Marlon. I couldn't really be too much mad at him because it's his first game back since, foot surgery, due to the off season. But they lost that game, and that's pretty much 6 out of the last 7 that they've lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt, whenever he sees the Baltimore Ravens, he's an absolute beast. Not that he's not a beast already, but TJ Watt, whenever he sees purple and black, he goes off. He goes off. And shout out to Highsmith as well because he played a hell of a game. Shout out to the Steeler fans. You guys pulled that one off again. I'm not gonna lie to you. It really hurts losing to the Steelers, and I've been a fan for a very long time. I don't think it would have hurt as much against maybe someone like Cleveland or Cincinnati, but just because it's the Steelers and that is the biggest rivalry in the AFC North, it hurts a little bit more, and I feel like I die a little bit inside. Oh my goodness. Yesterday, that one took